All right.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, I'm Laura.
Hi, I'm Rubina. Welcome to the Echoes and Embers podcast. We're hosting our soulful banter on the themes of life. Each week we are honoring an element and a perspective through it. So we're reflecting on impacts and influences, and we're very excited to start on our very first episode. Before we get fully started and jump into it, let's just set the intention for our space. Let's get our space ready.
All right.
All
Just gonna
right.
light a little
So
Salapanto just to cleanse the space. We
this lit. Oh, it smells so good.
mm-hmm.
This reminds me of you. Like anytime that I light this, it smells. I'm like, oh, Laura's with me.
Darn it, my lighter stopped working.
Yeah,
Like literally. Oh, there
it goes.
All right. We clear the noise, we keep the warmth.
We're here, you're here, and this space is ours.
What's true can stay.
The rest can go.
All right, let's begin.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're talking about transformation this week. It is a theme under the element of fire, the beginning, where the original storytelling began. So we thought it would be fitting for us to share the first spark of our friendship and how it's transformed us individually. Bless you. As a friendship and as a source of inspiration for us to come back to over the last 8 years. This friendship has been a container for us to become ourselves and go through life together. And we really think it's medicine when experiences and stories are shared. So that's our goal with this podcast. And we were ready to create together in a new way.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of just dig in. Like we could start telling our story, right? Like,
yeah.
where did we begin?
24 Carats, a nice little vegan shop in Tempe, Arizona, in the heart of the desert, Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix.
I remember the first time, Ruby, you walked in the door and everybody that was working, there was only about 6 or 8 of us, and everybody's like, oh, we just stopped. And we watched Rubina walk in the door for an interview, and our boss, Sasha, at the time was just like, okay, we're looking for a new line cook. We're going to go interview this girl. And there was a guy out front. His name was Kendall, and he was just like, we have to hire her. We have to hire her. He is in the back. He's just like, she's got something about her, her energy. She looks like a goddess. We got to hire her. I was like, okay, all right. A couple weeks go down the line, and we've hired Rubina at the 24 Carats. And, she and I are back on the grill. It's our first time ever really talking to each other, working together. And I just remember like the beginning of the shift, and we were already prepped up for the shift, ready to just start cooking. The dinner rush starts, and we're just back there talking about our love of cooking, our love of healthy eating. And we're just back there, slanging the buffalo cauliflower wraps and the whatever else was on the menu for the evening.
I remember the like nori sushi rolls. I remember rolling those up.
Those darn old things. And I just remember just vibrating so high with her off of conversation about food and just like high vibe living and just trying to be better versions of ourselves. And she was sharing with me her food truck idea. I was sharing with her like how I think that's great. And I wanted to start my own like food inspirational journey. And it was just like a very like highlighted just interaction where you felt like you were on cloud 9 the whole time in that kitchen that night. We didn't mess up on one meal. We were just back there slanging and cooking. I just remember like chopping and like a fruit ninja, throwing food in the air and getting things out on point, on time. And just after that interaction with Ruby, she and I just kind of from there started hanging out. We went hiking and just journeying around Arizona and just kind of opening up the door of friendship there. And I feel like that first time ever really sitting and interacting with her, or not sitting, sorry, cooking with her just really brought out like just really good energy from both of us, where we kind of just, marinated in that and kept going from there. And that was really how we started, was that second shift cooking in the kitchen together and just, vibing off of that.
It was magical. I loved that feeling of flow, and it felt super special. And I can also remember it was like a glowing like light. It was probably the sun setting because it was dinner shift. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was like a glowing light. I'm like, oh, a new friend.
And
Yes. So I was so happy. And I was very excited about like, oh, this could be really good. I'm like, I have to like work with her more.
yeah.
And we did. We like you said, we went hiking and we were vibing out, and we just did. She's my partner in crime. We were partners in crime. We were doing everything together.
Yeah. I think
And
our friendship led to like instant hanging out, instant just like connection and like comfortability with each other, so that we just started like we're already in a place of like blooming, and we just started to really start taking off individually and as like a friendship, and it really brought out a
yeah,
lot of highlighted characteristics in us, discoveries of ourselves, and just having a safe space to be yourself was one of the
it
most
really,
beautiful things about the start of our friendship, and learning that like sacredness in another human interaction with somebody.
yeah, it really was a springboard for me and made me feel safe. It made me feel comfortable because I was going through at the time like a breakup, and then I was happy that I had like brand new friendship. I started a new job and all these things, and I had never met somebody that allowed me to like say what I needed to say and what I was really thinking and feeling, and not just be like, oh, that's weird. She was like, oh, dude, me too, yo. And I'm like, no. So it got me excited. And then, I mean, this entire time that we've been friends for the last 8 years, which is a long time, like that's my longest friendship, like
Yeah.
active, true friendship where we've been able to cycle with each other, grow, learn, and we're still closer than ever, I think. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, we have transformed so much since then, and that's why we wanted to bring up this story for this podcast, because at the time it was almost like two atoms like colliding or something and causing like an explosion,
Yeah.
and then we're just like all over the place, and going through our own shit, and
Yeah.
very like spiritually tapped in. We were very for in our own individual ways, and then coming together it was that way. So that was kind of for me what my springboard was in spiritual transformation, and my viewpoints on like life have transformed since then. But I think was really like the base root of where everything kind of blossomed from. So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree for the same for myself. I feel like I was in a place of just I was on a solo dolo journey, just trying to figure out life, find my way, find some type of inspiration. And I feel like meeting you, Ruby, at that time really inspired me as an individual. I was, going through my own things at that time, but I really was able to just honestly like have fun with it, because I feel like I was just kind of on a straight, narrow, like, okay, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do with my life? And then I meet Rubina, and I just feel like fun and excitement and joy kind of surfaced its way back into my life, where I was laughing again, and I was, not being so tight on myself, and like learning to loosen up a bit and just kind of learn to go with the flow, and just
I think that's
flow
interesting
teaching me.
because I feel like you taught me flow. Like I felt like I was rigid and just like trying to, like you're saying, figure your stuff out. Me too. With okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I was sick of bartending. That's why I went into this side of food. Was okay. I've been a line cook before. I'm going to go into it again. And I was vegan at the time, and it just all worked out well. But I'm like, okay, what do I need to figure out? Da, 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 da. And you had a very, you know, light and airy way of just going with the flow and being very grounded at the same time. And I needed that because I felt I just was kind of lost. So
Yeah.
yeah, you grounded me a lot, as at the same time like let me fly in the air. It's weird to describe, but that's what it
No,
was. It's good shit.
I can agree, but in the opposite way for me. Like I feel like I was so down, or not down, but just grounded, and like, just kind of following the way, but then being able to kind of pull up and just transform more in just bring in more of like a joyful energy, a more light, fun, I did have my flow, but I also needed more of like a compassion for it, I guess, instead of like a strict regiment of
Being,
myself,
yeah, being so hard on it. Yeah. I am,
Yeah.
I agree. That's where I was at too. And where we've transformed since then, it's gone through so many different iterations for myself. And I don't know, it's just a spiral. These lessons, you just keep going and doing the same thing over and over again with like different attacks or different modes of figuring nuance situations out. Um but yeah, I don't know. I want to kind of dig into like where I like how there's so many things that I feel like I'm transforming through right now. I
Hmm.
don't even really know
Yeah.
where to begin.
I mean,
um
like, let's begin at the beginning of what creates transformation. Like, I think
yeah.
that when we want to, decide that it's time for us to be better or approach something differently, like, for me, I love to start with thought and, like, how am I approaching this through my way of thinking? What is the wording I'm using? Am I being harsh with myself through this thought? I like to really find where I can't, like my wording of like I can't, and transform them into I can't, and propelling myself with the way I'm speaking to myself, and how I feel like that has been the seed and start for any type of transformation I am currently going through or have ever gone through. And it's always kind of like a consistent work in progress, but transforming thought essentially, and allowing your thought to tell you you can do it, so then it gives you the momentum to do it. And I think that's a beautiful way to approach
Yeah.
any type of
Yes.
transformation, is
Mindset.
really starting with what you
But
have already and then incorporating more to support that transformation. For me, support wise would be okay, so I haven't been moving a lot, as in like a lot of extra movement aside from my day-to-day walking routine. So recently I have been incorporating more movement into my transformation, as in like stop, bend, flex a little bit, just get some movement, start walking more. Something simple and a tool that I already have in the tool belt that I can start implementing into the transformation. Everybody always thinks like, oh, I have to start with diet and exercise, or diet and what I'm eating. Yes, that's true, but it's also about starting with what you have and where you're at. And we've already started with the thoughts, and then what do we have next? Okay, well, we have movement. So even if you're just intentionally like moving yourself, and then also kind of like utilizing your breath a little bit, and creating your own personal flow and intention with those kinds of movement, kind of begins another stage of transformation for yourself, because you're kind of incorporating what you already have and where you're already at.
yeah, I to kind of touch on like what you said about deciding, right? The For me that's big cuz I recently made a decision to stop smoking weed. So weed for me is it's fun. I like I like smoking. I've never really been a drinker, but what I've noticed is I've had trouble with getting ahead with certain goals that I have. So for me, transformation, yes, it starts in the mind. It starts in having a thought, seeding the thought, not letting it just overtake you. Like when you start to overthink things, because I would say I was thinking about stopping for like 3 months, or not 3 months, 3 weeks, really like seriously prior to me making the decision. And then it came to one day where I just like my the way that I make decisions and the way that I transform is really through my body. Like I'll think about things, I'll feel whether or not like that direction is where I need to be heading, and my body will start telling me. So there's one day I woke up and I had the thought, okay, do I want to, it was a day off, do I want to smoke? And then I could feel my body saying no. So I listened to that and I said, okay, I'm just going to not. And instead of making the decision where I'm like, okay, forcefully saying, I'm not going to do this anymore, I can't do this anymore, like I have in the past, and tried to make changes for myself in other ways that style. And then I end up going back to it. said, okay, I'm making this decision right now. And then when the moment comes again, I'll make another decision. And when it comes again, I'll make another decision. Because you're faced with these choices multiple times a day, like,
Oh yeah.
especially if something's a habit. So building on that no, or building on that yes, or that choice, I think for me is kind of what makes it tangible, when I want to choose to do something else. And it's been 3 weeks for me now, since yesterday, which is
Nice.
big because yeah, it's been a year where I've been smoking really heavy, and I don't think that it's something that like I'll keep away forever, but I just wanted to focus on other stuff and make room for it, because room for other focuses on my body being able to focus on like not being inflamed in ways that I can control and contribute. And I think it's helped my sleep, because that's another thing that I wanted to get focused on and transform, is like, okay, I need to wake up earlier. I have things that I want to focus on and do aside from just getting up and going to work. And every day, naturally, now I'm like waking up earlier without an alarm. So all of
Nice.
this to say, like, yeah, all this to say, it's just small decisions every day.
Yeah,
Um,
small choices, small, build
Getting
to.
started with what you have, just like what you said, like
Yeah.
what do I have? I have the opportunity to just say, no, I'm good right now. I'm gonna drink some tea instead. That's actually been my filler for not smoking. I'm going to bed before. My ritual before was like I would come home after work. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna smoke. I'm gonna chill out and relax. The whole point of that was to relax. So now I'm drinking sleepy tea to
Nice.
relax, and it's the same.
Yeah, that's
So
a great nervous system reset as well, and teaching your system in a sense of like, okay, this is how we're doing it. This is what we're doing together, and everything's listening. Everything's
yeah,
connected
and
and listening and transforming with you and making those choices with you, and adding in that tool of something more beneficial is definitely going to set the uh, course for more positive transformation.
yeah, and it's more grounded in action. So like one of the things that we wanted to touch on too is like, okay, yes, it is in your mind. You make these decisions, but you have to follow through on it. So, like,
Hmm.
I'm acting every day by choosing the tea rather than the smoking.
Hmm.
And I feel balanced. I feel grounded. I feel good. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. But I will say this, over the last 8 to 10 years, I've focused very much on not wanting to be reliant on any kind of like substances or anything. So I've
Hmm.
gone through these like extremists, like, okay, I'm in it and then I cut it off. I'm in it and then I cut it off. So I think I have a strength with that naturally anyways.
Nice.
But yeah, action. You can't change anything if you don't take any steps. So that here's another example is our podcast. We've been wanting to create some shit for
Yeah.
a long time,
Yeah.
and we're just doing it.
Yeah. Just doing it messy, doing it sloppy, but we're just
Doing it.
making it happen.
Yep, we're making it happen. We're gonna roll with
Yeah.
it, and we're gonna keep it polished as we go along.
Hmm.
I'm grateful. That's another
I
thing to touch on,
I
gratitude.
I'm extremely grateful to have this space, to have the opportunity to finally just, get it going. And it's a great time to spend more time together and just, make awesome things happen for ourselves
Yeah.
and the community. That's the goal one day, is to, help give insight and loving, tender support for everybody, through our
And
words
make
of
people feel seen.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Because
I think that's just.
I'll be honest with you, I feel like I've listened to a lot of podcasts, like just random episodes here and there to kind of get a flavor for what I like. And the only thing that I just never really, not that I didn't appreciate, but I just never like sunk my teeth into anything, was because it felt, I don't know, too produced. I want to hear stories. Like that's what I
Yeah.
miss about community, is like, and having a group, is hearing like experiences, shared experiences, and be like, oh, okay, they go through certain things. That's why I shared on this about smoking, because it's, I'm sure people out there are like, they're
Probably going
having their
through the same
hangups with,
thing.
yeah. And I'm like, I want to change. I'm not saying
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm a pothead and I just can't. No, it's not it's either. I just we can ebb and flow with things too. Like I said, I'll probably smoke weed in the future, but I just don't want to smoke weed every day like I have been for the last year.
Yeah.
So
Use it more of like a special occasion type of indulgence versus a
yeah,
necessity every day.
yeah,
I'm with you on that.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm happy to be here and to just be able to share our intention of like wanting community, wanting to just flow with conversation. We're not really looking to, plaster our what we think or feel, but just to kind of flow on our journey and share our journey. And if you vibe and feel any, positive things from what we say or whatever, we just invite you to stay tuned and be here on this journey with us. We're really
yeah,
happy to be here and we're happy to share. And in time, we're definitely going to incorporate listener listener help me out here.
submissions.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
And just get the community more involved with us on this journey. We're gonna each week touch topic on elements. This week is fire transformation. Next week we're looking into getting into some water and a little dream state there. And
dreamwork.
dream work, something we all love to talk about. But our intention is to just flow, and we find that the elements of the earth are just a natural rhythm to kind of keep our podcast with an intention and a structure point to focus on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I feel like we as friends have allowed the elements is a main part of like how we've expressed ourselves to each other and how we've stayed balanced. Like
Oh, for sure.
when we've gone on our camping trips or like had our ceremonies, and how we focus on bringing each element into it so we feel like grounded. That's the whole
Mm-hmm.
point of what this is like
Also,
grounding our thoughts.
where we honor the natural flow of the world, the natural things we have in this world, and just honoring ourselves and everything that this world gifts to us for us. And we like to share our appreciation and gratitude for all the things that we've been able to succeed with and utilize on this journey.
Learn through, feel reliant on,
Yeah.
and support. Yeah, it's true. I'm excited about next week. I mean, I know we're in this one, but I've been doing a lot of dream work. So, and that's because of me since I've stopped smoking, I've been able to tap into my dream state way easier. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
remembering my dreams every night, and I'm like, what is the word I'm looking for? Interpreting them and kind of like working through like my subconscious hangups in my personal life, and feeling a lot better about the problems that I've got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't feel as overwhelming. So that's one way. Is that my memory? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm back. But yeah,
Welcome back.
like feeling better about just the shit that I've got going on. Pardon my language.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about the
here.
elemental
Okay.
part of things. Yeah, that's true. We're unfiltered.
Oh yeah. Well, just to circle back on our topic of today for transformation, just some guidelines that we're working through for our own selves and things that we kind of want to share with others, is starting where you're at. We touched on that, and starting with what you have, where you're at, and then learning to let go so that you can grow. Releasing what's not aligning with you, habits, patterns, stories, relationships, our environments that dim your light, and just making a space to create encouragement and clarity for yourself. Forgiveness is a really big thing for just being able to move on and to grow. So, definitely give yourself some roots in self-compassion and self-love, and just acknowledging where you've been and where you're going, and watch yourself bloom and grow from there. Definitely do not pressure yourself to find your purpose so quickly. Pressure kind of just makes everybody want to squiggle and wiggle away. So you're going to align with your purpose when you start making those steps towards your personal transformation. Everything to involve transformation is, just taking the steps to do it, and, incorporating that forgiveness to alleviate that pressure is a great way to get going and flowing in that. There's some other side tips that we kind of think that really align with healthy transformation is nourishing your energy and talking about your mind, your body, and even your spirit. You can just, prioritizing yourself, your rest, your movement, eating more whole foods, looking into breath, and just thinking about your breath, listening to your breath in and out of your body, drinking more water, healthy connections, and just being still. There is a lot of power in just being able to be still and listen to yourself, checking in with yourself, and asking yourself where you are and where is it that you want to go. And then definitely embrace discomfort as a teacher. Things that make you feel uncomfortable or just, unhappy, listen to what the reasoning is for you and why that is for you. And let it teach you where it is that it can take you on the other side of that. Creating daily rituals with intention, very small, very consistent choices shape big change, and anchoring into rituals that remind you of who you are and who you're becoming. So, a small ritual for me that I've recently incorporated in my daily habits the past couple of weeks is I open my eyes. I say, all right, thank you for this great day. I got the sun or my window right by where I open my eyes in the morning. I let that, the light touch my face. I open up, thank you, and I run to my kettle and I heat some warm water. And I have chopped up a little tub of some lemons, and I squeeze one lemon and I have a cup of warm water, and I just, I embrace that cup of water, and I'm like, all right. And I allow that with my intention. I intentionally am cleansing myself and just like refreshing my system, waking up my system with that warm water in the morning. That has been a new go to every morning for me to just kind of help transform the start of my day. So I've been really looking to power boost my mornings just so that I'm ready to go with a fresh attitude, a fresh mindset, and to embrace the day as it is. So that's just a simple daily ritual with intention that I've been incorporating into my day.
It's like how my tea has been too.
Yeah. And then allowing that integration into your day and integrating, you can always, that's a simple way to start. As you start, I encourage you to start with one thing a day, one step at a time, and to not pressure
and maybe
yourself.
even just focus on that for a week, because one change can feel overwhelming. Even just like getting up and embracing that day and then making that hot water with lemon can feel like a challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
Where you're just like, no, I'm in a rush. Like that's when it comes down to prioritizing your rest, prioritizing your nourishment. And that's how things start aligning, where it might feel like you're slowing down and you're not moving as fast forward as you thought that you were. But in the long run, you're slowing down to speed up. It's one of the sayings that I learned at one of my jobs, and it really has stuck with me. But yeah, slow down to speed up.
A really cool saying that I grew up going to church, and this is not like a religious saying or anything, but this is just a saying that my church had pasted out front of their building, and it just has always stuck with me. But small things done with great love will change the world. And if you take that in on a personal level, like small things done for myself will change who I'm becoming.
Your life. Who you're becoming, your life, your everything.
Once you start putting that love into yourself, it is truly going to ripple out into everything you do, everyone you meet, and everything in this world. Like we're all in it together. And if you take small steps of change and love for yourself, it's going to only ripple out stronger into everything else you do. And
if we all have a divine purpose to make an impact on the world, you can't pour from an empty cup. It's almost like all the things that we're saying, I feel like I always hear from, like just morale boosting posts or this or that. But what I've found is all of it just needs to be done in a practical, ritualistic way that nourishes you as an individual.
For sure.
It doesn't have to be like a whole new, you don't have to change your whole life. You just start with a cup of hot water.
I mean, truly, like, it's truly as simple as that. And then remember this, you always celebrate the becoming. It doesn't have to be the arrival, but the journey itself. Celebrate your small wins. Heck yeah, I made that hot cup of water for myself. Heck yeah, I
I'm
walked
a week in. I'm
on a
2 weeks
weekend.
in.
Yes. Hey, I walked an extra step this week. Like, whatever it be, celebrate your progress and your journey. And
celebrate your decisions. Like, that's also what it comes down to too, is like, even if you decided all week, like, I said no to this or yes to this, or I decided I was going to think this way, and you were able to hold that threshold. Hey, kitty. Celebrate that. And don't knock yourself so hard when you faltered on your path, because
because you can always get back up and do it again. There is no rule that says you cannot get up, you cannot do it again, because that's not true. You can get up and do it again. Everything starts with a choice, and allowing yourself that space to choose correctly for yourself. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the cat.
No, it's okay. Clover coming up to me, and I'm like, hey, baby.
But it's, it kind of circles back to that self-talk of like, you can do this, and making the choice that you want to do this. You can do these things for yourself. You can transform. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, anything really. It just boils down to choosing for yourself the betterment of yourself, and if that's what you want, choosing that and finding what steps are going to work best for you and meeting yourself where you're at.
Yeah, meet yourself where you're at. Don't beat yourself up. Don't do it. And that's when you get to decide, no, I'm good. I don't want to think these thoughts anymore. That's really what my main personal takeaway is from this topic is, there are so many times where I have just let my thoughts overtake me and overrun me. And what I think my biggest challenge has been over the last, I really think about my transformation of the last like 8 years specifically, because I told her this the other day. Me and Laura were talking, and I said, I really feel like there was a beginning of life. Like, there was life before Laura, and there was life after Laura. And after Laura, like after I met her, I feel like my transformation in my spiritual self and just how I approached life and was able to integrate everything was changed. So,
So sorry, my cat is just fine.
Like, don't be sorry. Kitty's
needs affection right now. Yeah, we are already together, really. And
we're in it.
Meeting you, Rubina has brought so much vibrant life to my life, and I think it's been a beautiful friendship this far, and hey, I'm happy to be a positive add to your team.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're in the same boat, I'm glad we're doing this together, because I would not.
And just a side note for anyone that's curious, Ruby and I live over 2,000 miles away from each other, so it's it's not even a commitment, but it's like, it's one of those friendships that if you don't talk for 3 months, you pick up the phone, and it's like you never stop talking. So it's been a beautiful, beautiful friendship to have on this journey, for sure. Go on.
Yeah, and I think that I'm glad you brought that up too, because whenever we do spend time apart, like not talking, or we're not in a flow with each other, we're going through like a metamorphosis. Like, we're going through something that's just like, oh my God. And sometimes we forget to reach out to each other and like realize that, I have support on the other end. Because we can be so stuck in our head about like, I'm stuck, I'm this, I can't, I die. And then,
I don't want to burden her.
Exactly. Yeah. Which that's never the case. And I was talking to my other friend today. She's like, I'm really glad that you don't ever make me feel like I'm a burden. I'm like, you could never be. Like, you can't. That doesn't come from you. So, yeah, just a reminder too, the support systems that you do have, for all y'all people that are listening to this, tap into it. And the more that you tap into your support systems, you build that strength and that resiliency of your bond. And if it ends up falling away, then all right, now you're just cleansing what wasn't supposed to be. Yeah.
Then
it wasn't, you will make room for other people. Like, and that's totally okay too. And sometimes you're going to be lonely. That's going to happen. Well,
And then just remember, like, that self-love and rippling effect that you're putting into yourself that is going out into the world, you are going to attract your vibe. You are going to attract your soul aligned support. And when I met Ruby, that's exactly what I was doing. I left home, had nothing, and I was just going into the world, just trying to love myself and find myself. And I had beautiful people brought into my life at that time. And it all started with the choice of like wanting to be better and do better for myself. And here I am 8 years later with one of the greatest friends I've ever had in my whole life. And it's turned into a beautiful thing, and it's going to become, or it's going to continue to be that way. And it's, making those small choices for your transformation, your reset, your recharge, whatever, however you see fit to call it, it's a beautiful thing to begin. It really is.
Yeah. And it gets to start over and over, however many times you want it to happen.
Yeah.
So don't think you got to start one and you got to run with that one forever. You can pivot and you can change at any time.
Oh, yeah. Especially if something doesn't align with you anymore. Do not hesitate to take that step for yourself.
Yes. Like I just thought of how the thought of like my lounge, right? I've told you the other day, I've been on this idea for this lounge because I work in hospitality and I wanted to open this thing for so long. And it had gone through so many different iterations. And then just this year, I was like, I let it go. Maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe I won't. To be honest with you, I have no idea. But that was really big for me because I felt like a weight off my shoulders. So like sometimes something that you think is so aligned with you was an idea from a different iteration of you, and you might have outgrown it. You have to let go of those things. Like what she was bringing up earlier. Don't be afraid to let go and to make room to grow. Like, even an idea or a prompt or a mission that you had in your head that just still has not worked out and you don't feel aligned with it, don't feel upset with yourself if you have to let it go. And I had to wrangle with that for a long time because I thought, I'm failing because I didn't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm proud of you for that one because I know how long you've really envisioned that for yourself, and to allow that.
You saw.
To allow that to release for you and allow space to just be, that's awesome. And I look forward to seeing your transformation in that for you.
Yeah, I'm excited because I feel like what's coming up next is very different. And
I feel that, dude. I feel like I can relate to you on the releasing of what I think was to allow what is on its way without forcing it. And it's just like a lot of things are just flowing in really beautiful because I myself have let go of a very structured vision I saw for myself in the future. And I had to forgive that it's not going to happen and put it off to the side, not necessarily just get rid of it, but just, not focus so hard on it. And I feel movement in a different direction and in a different source for myself. So I love that because it feels fresh and new and motivating to just kind of not hyper focus on something that I think is. So.
Yeah. I agree. It feels really liberating to be able to feel creative in a new way without feeling like a marring guilt about I didn't do this and I fucked up and maybe I'm late to the party. I'm not late. I'm not late. And that's something that I've said. I'm right on time. And I've said this a lot the last year with other situations too. And I've said it like not out of anger or anything, but just out of like, it's a strong feeling of like, I trust my timing. I really do. Yeah. Because every moment that I'm trusting my intuition to make decisions for myself, it all lines up for something. And, I'm not late. I'm literally not late.
What did we always say in the beginning of our friendship? Do you remember? Divine timing.
Divine timing.
Divine timing. Everything in divine timing. Like that is so true. Yeah, really we still do, but I feel like that was a really big mantra for us in the beginning of our friendship because we did have a lot of things go wrong, not between us, but just situational or an experience wasn't exactly how we thought. And we were like, well, divine timing on that one, Yeah,
for sure. And like, I keep thinking about, I just really want to say this, like from the beginning of our friendship and the shit that we would do. So we would go on all kinds of adventures and I'm just remembering the time of like what I want to forgive myself for in the past is really having that rigid viewpoint and kind of just completely untethered viewpoint of how the universe would influence my life. And if I did certain things, that it would all just work out. Like, my truck stopped working on our way up to Sedona, and we got stuck on the side of the road. And I had a bunch of stuff in the back of the truck.
Miscellaneous stuff.
Miscellaneous, just random stuff. And I'm like, all right, we got to get rid of this dead energetic weight. Okay, we're just everything that's not supposed to be here. We got to chuck it, and then our car would start. So we threw all this shit off the back of the truck, and then I was like, all right,
good stuff too, like nice stuff, like just
like what?
I got rid of my cell phone. Like we just were.
The radio face, I think I also did too. It's just ridiculous. Okay, I was like, we don't need this. We've got connection to source. And, that's what I meant earlier when I said, like, everything was just, like, bam, like, everything. It felt like the whole universe was coursing through us and nothing could stop us, which is great to spark a fire. But then you're just doing silly things like that. And then we started the truck, and of course it didn't start because that's not what yeah.
It started and it got us off the exit, and then it died.
True.
And it sat on that exit for 2 months because we didn't know how to take care of a car.
Yeah, we were just like, I just left it. I left it up there, and I was like, I'm going to start riding a bike. And that's what I did.
Which was great exercise.
It was great exercise. I had a fat booty.
And it was so fun. It was so fun just like whipping around.
Yeah. On bikes. It was cool. And that sets us on different adventures in Little Pass. And eventually I got my truck. We got it working and it was fine. But those are the little things that are kind of cringe to me that I want to just forgive myself for and recognize how far I've come in my own like spiritual self and ability to change.
We've both gone through the growth, and as we are gearing up to end this first recording of our podcast, Echoes and Embers, I just want to say for us both that we're honoring who we are, accepting who we are, trusting who I am becoming, and releasing the weight of the past and returning to the love within. Just a simple, beautiful little mantra to end our week on, and to fuel us into next week's recording. But any closing words you'd like to say or share, Ruby?
I think that's really beautiful. I am in that as well. Like, I'm right there with you. And I just, for the people that need something a little bit more not practical, because this is practical too, but just a reminder when you might be trying to change your thoughts around something, or you're spinning and you don't want to be that person anymore that's caught up in their head. Just remember, it's not my business. It's not my business if this person is making decisions, that confuse you, or you don't understand why they're going down that path, or you're trying to figure somebody else out. That is none of your business. All that you need to worry about is how you're nourishing yourself every day, how you're making decisions with yourself to not get caught up in those circular thoughts.
Yeah, it's about you and your transformation and your growth. No one else is going to take care of you like you take care of you.
Nope. And anything that they're thinking about or they're going through has
nothing to
do with you. So you have agency. You get to decide on whether you succumb to certain thoughts, to whether you end up sitting on the couch or getting up. And sometimes sitting on the couch is part of your nourishment. So don't be hard on yourself. Just make sure you're doing everything intentionally.
Yeah.
Everything is with intention, and the more that you get into that rhythm, like your intuition and your voice and your decisions will get louder and louder. And then you, in however much time passes, will be a different person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
I love this. I think this is good. I think we had a good first episode.
Oh yeah. I made some. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think we're gonna have a good time. Yeah, let's do a little wrap, right?
All right. Yeah.
I'm excited. Looking forward to next week. We're gonna do water with dreams. Very excited about the dream work. Okay. Like I said, I've been very tapped into that for a few weeks now.
Oh yeah, we all.
It smells so good.
I think it's a topic we all love to talk about and all have our own interpretations. But I just wanted to thank everybody for sharing this space with us. Ruby, thank you so much for joining me and sharing this space with me. And I really look forward to next week. Very excited to keep going with this journey with you and finally starting what we've always wanted to start together. So it's very, very exciting. So,
very exciting. I love creating with you, and I'm glad we get to do this, and I'm thankful as well. And I'm just full of gratitude that we've started something that, who knows what's going to happen.
Creating a safe space. All right.
We are. All right, cool.
Until next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.